You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio, man. We are here once again, and today we have another show lined up for y'all today, man. We're going to talk to our special guest, Jocelyn Chong. She has an amazing website that you need to check out. It's jocelynchong.com.au. And man, today's amazing show is a fun topic. Today is all about, are you fearing networking? Because if you are, it could be sabotaging your business and your career. So with the honor I have to have our guest Jocelyn on the show, first and foremost, I want to say, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. So good to be part of this show. And I look forward to share my thoughts, my life lessons and real life stories and how I can support your audience.
And you are a networking specialist. You're also a speaker and multi-award winner, 4-time #1 international best-selling author, and you're the founder of Magnetic Networking Accelerator. So for our audience, kind of give us a little backdrop story of how you've been able to be in position to empower entrepreneurs and professionals.
A little bit about who I am. So 22 years in banking and finance, and I was born and raised in Malaysia, left home when I was 17 to study in Australia. And after I completed my degree in accounting and finance, I decided to pursue a career in banking in Australia, working for the top leading banks. And from there, I had learned so much about networking, about business advisory, wealth creation, and communication in so many different ways, because we look after clients, we look after our stakeholders, we work with our vendors, we work with our business referral partners. So there's a lot of aspects and networking requirement that I need to participate on a regular basis. And I had learned it the hard way because I was not born to be a natural networker, because I came from a upbringing whereby, we don't talk about who we are. We don't share about what we know because it's not ideal. And I realized that when I started work, I needed to be real. I needed to share who I am. I needed to be authentic. And it took me a number of years to realize that that is such an important aspect of the foundation of networking. And then I realized that I was not prepared when I went to networking events. I often feel that I needed to go and I didn't enjoy it. And I would position myself in a networking event at a corner, not knowing how to mingle, how to join a conversation, what to say, how to follow up at a networking event. And so I did tick the box. I was there at the networking event. I paid for the ticket, but I didn't get a lot out of it. And so I realized that I needed to change and transform the way I position myself at a networking event. And then I learned different ways to engage people, both online and offline at a networking event. And the last 3 years, my business expanded globally. So online networking has been incredibly powerful and participated in a number of very useful ways to network with people at a global platform. So I pulled together all my life lessons, my stories, what I've done in the past, and now I teach my clients how to do that, especially those who are introverted, not so confident with who they are. They're a little bit shy. And I share with them how they can really step up, be seen, be heard at a networking event, because I believe that networking event is marketing. It's marketing who you are. It's also personal branding, how you show up, how you can be a magnetic individual that people want to talk to you, get to know what you do, and you get to share your resources, who you are, and how you add value to the group as well. So that is what I do today.
And speaking of all the details that you spelled out for our audience, networking is something that any professional, sooner or later, is going to have to learn how to do. And when it comes to, because you spoke on introverts, and I'm an introvert myself, so I know exactly what it feels like, kind of being out there, if you will. But like I said, being in a space of networking is very important for you as a professional. And when it comes to being intentional about our networking, what's some of the key ingredients that you share with your clients of, number one, what does it really mean to be intentional with your networking?
To be intentional, you want to be there fully, body, mind, and spirit. I had in the past attended, but my mind was not there. My spirit wasn't there. I ticked the box being there, but I didn't enjoy it. And so being intentional was being fully engaged, being present, and really enjoy the environment that I was in. So that's number one. Number two is I walk in intentional with clarity, who I want to connect with. I prepare myself so that when I'm there, when people ask me what I do, what I stand for, or my stories, I'm prepared to share that with ease, with grace. And number three, I also go into a networking event and walking out with a number of connections that I want to follow up as well. So I had learned from my own mistakes that I've gone to so many networking events and I never follow up with anyone. And so there are wasted opportunities that was presented to me. And I realized quickly that it's the follow-up, it's the really deeper conversations with someone after a networking event. It could be 20 minutes or 30 minutes to learn more about them. Because networking at an event is like your entree. You get to meet them, you get to have your first impression made known to others. And then when you move to the mains, you follow up with someone, you have a conversation with them, either online, one-on-one, through a virtual coffee chat, or offline where you can do an in-person coffee chat as well, whichever that suits your preference. And so those are the few things that I think if we can get that organized and prepare ourselves, we will be far more intentional as a networking individual. And after you follow up with someone, is to continue to be resourceful. So it's great. You follow up with a person, you might do a one-on-one catch up. But after that is to continue to stay on the relationship, be in touch. And today, it is so easy to stay in touch with people because people would be resourceful to post materials on social media platform, whichever platform that you may be active in, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube. Have a channel that suits you, that you are available to share useful resources. And all of us have got resources that we can share with others, whether it's, an area of expertise that you write a blog about, whether it's, tips that you've learned, whether it's something that you are an expert in your job that you can share your experience, your observation with others and contribute. Once you do that in either platforms that you are present in and you're active, that's how you also add value to a whole nother level through those connections that you build over time.
Once again, this is Time Refocus Radio, talking to our guest, Jocelyn Chong. She is a networking specialist, speaker, and author. And today, man, we have opportunities to make those relationships and like you said, keep in touch with people after we make that first impression. But when it comes to having a certain personality, if you will, what's a a common personality trait that helps people kind of stick out from, I guess you can say, the noise out there?
The common personality trait that you want to really embody is being true to yourself. When you are true to yourself, whether you are an extrovert or you're introvert, be true to yourself. We all are born with different personality traits, and we want to demonstrate our true essence to others. And so when you are authentic with yourself and you're aligned with your own core values, you are going to be so magnetic to connect with others naturally, without force, without the push. And so get to know who you are. And then when you are at a networking event, have the ability to share who you are. Make sure that you come with, a little bit of description that is about 60 to 75 seconds. Talk about what you believe in, what you stand for, what you're passionate about. And from there, you can always continue the conversation further as you progress and connect with others. Another personality trait that is really powerful when you actually walk into a networking event is to listen actively to someone else's conversation. When you are a good listener, you can remember things that people talk about, and that demonstrates that you're interested in someone. Because a lot of times people are focused so much on their own talk, on their own passion, they fail to engage in someone else's content. And so be very, very active in terms of how you mentally take notes when you listen to other people's conversation, and be interested, be curious around what they talk about so that you can really engage in their passion. And if there's any area that you can add value in that conversation, by all means, add value, share resources. Resources could be an article that you've read, the latest book that you've come across, podcasts that you've listened to, any magazines that you've read that really stood out. So there's so many areas in terms of resources that you can contribute and share with others. And that can make such a big difference when you actually share at a networking event as well.
And let's talk about some of your books that you've written too, because you have additional resources that our listeners can tap into. And it's one that kind of sticks out, and that is Transforming Pain to Purpose. Tell us a little bit about that book.
Transforming Pain into Purpose was a topic that I was invited to share and contribute my story and my journey. And I found that over the years, I had gone through a lot of challenges and struggles in my life that initially I didn't want to talk about them because I wanted to bury them in my past. But I also learned that once I had gone through the healing phase of all those pain points and struggles, it is actually powerful to share my life lessons with others. And there is so many ways to share it that it can be a blessing to other people's lives. So I took upon sharing from my scar rather than from my wound, because I encourage people to go through that process of healing. And when you share from the scar, you really support the audience, and you can really bring in lessons to encourage someone, to lift someone up. And I shared a number of stories of my past that I really, really felt challenged. And from that, I took and shared a number of lessons. And that led me to where my life can be more purposeful, and the purpose can encourage others, because that can spark others who has gone through a rock bottom and help them really lift them up. Maybe it's another 5% or 15% when they read my story, but it is 5 or 10% better. So my goal is to encourage people to work through your own pain and find the lessons and share that with others. Because if you bury that in the past and you don't share that, you never know, someone else might go through the same thing. And that can be a source of encouragement to them when they are going through a point, whether they are feeling a bit stuck or feeling a little bit lost or at a crossroads. You can be that person that encourage them and cheer them on with your story. So that was the background of why I shared my story from transforming pain into purpose.
You listen to I'm Refocused Radio, talking to our guest today, Jocelyn Chong. You can go to her website, jocelynchong.com.au, and let's talk about you being the founder of Magnetic Networking Accelerator. And we kind of gave a little backdrop of today's topic, but when you started your business to help people and to help them explore the possibilities that they have with their networking, you also are a certified life and business coach. So kind of give us a little bit of a taste of how you start the process finding clients who are a good fit for you.
To start off looking for clients, it was important for me to understand what I stand for and what I believe in and my credibility markers. So as a business owner, I did a lot of groundwork in terms of my own understanding of my own journey, my passion, what I've done in the past that really worked, and how I can bring value to others. And then I shared around my lessons and how I can help my clients quantum leap. So from a life coaching purposes, over the last 22 years in banking and finance, although I was a financial advisor, I was in senior leadership, I held a lot of national projects, I coach people a lot around life concerns, issues, or challenges. People come to me for concerns like, relationship boundaries, time management, communication, how to listen effectively. And I noticed that those are the common topics that people come to me to get support. And I had seen significant results that they had produced as a result of all the coaching that I've done with them. And so those were the things that started as a foundation. And then I expanded that as well as I continued to evolve and continue to stay very relevant in the topics that people are going through. And that continued to add to how I can support my clients even more. So a few things that I want to encourage people to do from a life coaching perspective, if you are a coach, is to continue to stay very relevant and continue to be a lifelong learner. And then, continue to learn about new things that you are growing in. You are expanding your knowledge in. You are sharpening your skills in. And if you are a client that want to look for life coaching, look for someone who can help you, see you, hear you, and draw out and unleash your potential in you. So those are the few things that really helped me at the start of my business find the right niche. And then over time, I continue to narrow down my niche so that I can serve a very targeted group. And it doesn't come overnight, but I continue to evolve over time. As a result of that, I've seen how the work that I do continue to be a blessing to my community and to my clients. And I continue to grow. I continue to learn different modalities, different ways to serve my clients, and continue to upgrade myself. So I devote about 10% of my time to grow, to transform my skill sets, and to be so relevant. And that can make such a big difference in terms of my business and to stay very relevant, I said, because I think the more relevant we are, the more value we can add to someone else's life.
And speaking of adding value to someone else's life and upgrading yourself, on your website you have free resources that people can check out. And one of the resources is you have mini courses. Can you kind of share with our audience some of the different things that you cover in these mini courses?
Yes. So under the free resource tab, please go in and download whether they are affirmations, a free chapter of my book, Success Codes, How We Define Success in the New Golden Age. There are mini courses that you can tap into around self-confidence, time management. So download those materials and watch the free masterclass on how to be a magnetic networker as well, because if you do the workbook and you implement that, the magic around getting the best results is to actually do the workbook questions and then go out and implement that. I guarantee that when you go out and you implement what was prompted in the workbook, you will see results and you will taste and see the change that can happen in your own life or your business. So I encourage you to utilize all the resources that's available on my website. And let me know how you go. Come and find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook, or send me an email and let me know, what else you have taken out from all the available resources that I am offering there. And let's continue to connect.
And with the time we have left, one thing that I feel is a common theme in today's conversation is, at some point, everything is a strategy, and you're doing something with your skill set and you're applying that when you're out there networking, almost like, everywhere you go, you're a walking brand. So how you, talk, interact with people, it's your brand, your decor. So when people see your brand, they see you. How important is it for our listening audience to not just practice what you're saying and to learn about it, but keep in mind that this is something that they have to attend to day in, day out. It's not just something that they try and then they don't have to do anymore. It's more than that, right?
Correct. So you had just summarized that beautifully. And we are our brand, whether you are an employee for an organization or your business owner, you continue to enhance your brand. And branding is so important. And so a couple of key points that I want to highlight is that, if you've got a brand, whether it's a profile on LinkedIn, your website, make sure that, branding includes a professional photo. Branding includes your message around your bio, your brand story, and also your colors, colors that reflect who you are and that you are sharing that energy coming across from that platform, whether it's your website or LinkedIn. And any profile that you set up a profile on, make sure that they reflect exactly who you are and continue to update all those elements every 6 to 12 months, because we all continue to grow and evolve. And so make sure that your photos are always relevant. Make sure that you continue to polish up your bio, your brand story, because I noticed that one of the areas that people do is a set and forget approach, that they might write a brand story or bio and they stick to that for the last 20 years and they never go back and revisit them. But over that period of time, you continue to enhance who you are. Therefore, make sure that you update them. And, if you're listening to this episode now, I highly recommend that you put in your phone calendar a reminder. Check your, professional presence on your profile, on your brand story, on your bio, every 6 to 12 months so that you can tweak, update, whether it's new accolades, awards, or anything that you have acquired, add them in and refine them so that it is going to stand out from the crowd. And you're just going to be such a magnetic individual that people want to actually gravitate to you and get to know you even more. And with profile photos, make sure that they're up to date, they represent exactly who you are in the current state so that, it is the first impression that you create. So when people go in to look at your profile, whether it's on LinkedIn or YouTube or wherever it may be, they can really connect with you immediately because those are intangibles, but they play such a big, solid part in terms of first impressions.
Once again, you'll be listening to I Am Refocused Radio, talking to our guest today, Jocelyn Chong. You can go to her website, jocelynchong.com.au. I want to say definitely go check out her books. They're on the website as well. And want to say thank you once again, Jocelyn, taking time talking to I Am Refocused Radio.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Great questions. And I hope that your audience will be energized and inspired by this message that I'm sharing.